Commander Zexthul felt his 3 hearts skip a beat as he stared at the monitoring screen. For 50 years, he had been listening to the constant noise coming from the 3rd planet in the Sol system. The humans never stopped talking. Their radio waves filled space with music, news, military orders, and endless chatter between their space stations and colonies. Now there was nothing. The Vraxian commander rubbed his scaled forehead with a clawed hand. His monitoring station on Kepler 442b was one of 12 secret alien bases watching Earth. Every major species in the galaxy had been studying the humans for decades. They were young, loud, and expanding fast across their solar system. Too fast, for comfort. "Run the scan again," he ordered his assistant. "Sir, I have run it 6 times. The result is the same. All human communication stopped exactly 4 hours and 17 minutes ago." Zexthul's tail twitched with worry. In 50 years of watching Earth, he had never seen anything like this. Even during their worst wars, the humans kept talking. During natural disasters, they talked more. When their first space station was destroyed in an accident, they filled the radio waves with rescue calls and emergency broadcasts. But now, silence. 3,000 light-years away, Captain Jake Murphy was having his own problems. His research ship Endeavour was floating near the edge of the Sol system, collecting data on asteroid movements. It was routine work, boring but necessary. Jake had been looking forward to his weekly call with his wife on Mars. "Amy, try Earth." "Command again," he called to his communications officer. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez shook her head. "Still nothing, sir. I've tried every frequency we have. Earth Command, Mars Control, Luna Base, even the civilian networks. It's like someone turned off a switch." Jake frowned. In his 20 years of space service, he had never lost contact with Earth Command. The military kept backup systems running, even during solar storms and equipment failures. Something was very wrong. "Keep trying. And see if you can raise any of the outer colonies." Amy nodded and turned back to her console. Jake watched her work and felt a cold worry growing in his stomach. The Endeavour was a small ship with only 12 crew members. If something had happened to Earth, they were very far from help. On the bridge of the Zephyrian scout ship Hidden Wind, Captain Silandra was reading reports from her sensor team. The Zephyrians had been preparing for first contact with Earth for 10 years. They had learned human languages, studied human culture, and planned careful approaches to avoid frightening the primitive species. "The human homeworld has gone completely silent," her science officer reported. "No radio, no television, no military communications, no space traffic control, nothing." Silandra's feathers ruffled with confusion. "That is impossible. The humans broadcast constantly. They send signals to their colonies, their space stations, their exploration ships. They even send messages to empty space hoping someone will answer." "Yes, Captain. But now there is nothing. Our listening posts across the sector are all reporting the same thing. The humans stopped transmitting 4 hours ago, all at once." Silandra stood up from her command chair. The Zephyrians had been watching the humans longer than most species. They knew human behavior patterns better than anyone. This silence was not normal. "Send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them we have a situation in the Sol system." Dr. Helen Carter was trying not to panic. Her research team on Proxima Centauri b was small, just 30 people studying the planet's strange plant life. They depended on regular supply drops from Earth and constant communication with the home world. Helen had been expecting new equipment and food supplies, but the cargo ship was 3 days late. "Any word from Earth?" she asked her assistant, Dr. Pete Morgan. "Nothing, Helen. I've been trying for 6 hours. The communication array is working fine, but there's no response from Earth on any channel." Helen walked to the window of their small research station. The red dwarf star Proxima Centauri was setting behind alien mountains. Earth was so far away that its sun was just another star in the night sky. The distance had never felt so vast. What about the other colonies? Mars, Europa, the asteroid mining stations? "I reached Dr. Lisa Park on Mars an hour ago. She's having the same problem. No contact with Earth at all. The Luna base is silent too." Helen felt her heart sink. If Earth had suffered some kind of disaster, the colonies would be on their own. They had food and supplies for months, but no way to get home. In the crystal halls of the Andromedian High Station, emergency lights were flashing. The Galactic Council was calling an urgent meeting. Representatives from 12 different species were gathering to discuss the human situation. Ambassador Quindar of the Serpentine Collective was the first to speak. The humans have been the most active species in this sector for decades. They expanded from one planet to dozens of colonies in less than a century. Their technology advanced faster than any species we have seen, and now they are completely silent. The Vraxian representative, Subcommander Veltar, shared his data. Our monitoring stations show no signs of destruction, no massive explosions, no signs of invasion, no evidence of system-wide war. The human colonies outside their home system are still active, but they seem confused and worried. Perhaps they discovered us, suggested the crystalline hive mind speaker. Perhaps they learned about our observation and decided to hide. Hide from what? Asked the Mechanical Collective's robot ambassador. We have made no hostile moves. We have been careful to avoid detection. That is exactly why they might be afraid, Quindar replied. They are young and paranoid. They might think we are planning to attack. Colonel Ben Harris was alone in his command center on Europa, staring at a blank communication screen. His military outpost was one of Earth's most secret installations, hidden beneath the ice of Jupiter's moon. Only a handful of people knew it existed, and its job was to watch for threats from deep space. Now Earth itself had vanished from the communication networks. Computer, run another diagnostic on the communication array, he ordered. Diagnostic. Complete. All systems functioning normally, the computer replied in its calm voice. Ben rubbed his tired eyes. He had been trying to contact Earth for 12 hours. His small team of 6 soldiers was trained for deep space reconnaissance, but they had never been cut off from home command before. Computer, any messages from other Earth installations? Negative. No communications received from Earth installations in the past 12 hours. Ben stood up and walked to the window. Europa's surface was covered in ice that reflected Jupiter's light like a mirror. The gas giant hung in the sky like a giant eye, but it offered no answers. Meanwhile, on the asteroid mining station Series 7, engineer Tony Martinez was becoming the center of an unofficial network. His mining platform was equipped with powerful communication arrays for coordinating ore shipments. When Earth went silent, the scattered human colonies started calling him. Tony, this is Dr. Susan Wright on Titan. Any word from home? Nothing, Susan. I've been trying Earth Command for 8 hours. Dead silence. Same here. Lisa Park on Mars thinks something big happened. Maybe a solar storm or equipment failure. Tony checked his instruments again. No solar activity. And a failure this complete would be almost impossible. Every backup system would have to fail at the same time. What are you thinking? Tony hesitated. I'm thinking this wasn't an accident. The conversation was interrupted by another call. This is Colonel Harris on Europa. Is this channel secure? As secure as we can make it, Colonel. What's your status? Completely cut off from Earth Command. My military channels are dead, civilian. Networks are down. Even the emergency frequencies are silent. Whatever happened, it happened to everything at once. More voices joined the conversation. Dr. Carter from Proxima Centauri, Captain Murphy from the Endeavour, research teams from the outer moons. Slowly, a picture emerged. Earth had not been destroyed. The colonies could still detect radio signals from the planet, but they were strange and scrambled. Something was blocking normal communication. It's like Earth put up a wall, Tony said. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. The implications were frightening. If Earth had deliberately cut itself off from the colonies, there had to be a reason. A very serious reason. As the human colonies tried to understand what was happening, alien civilizations across the galaxy were asking the same questions. The young, noisy species that had been expanding across their solar system had suddenly gone quiet. In the dangerous universe of galactic politics, silence was often more terrifying than noise. The humans had stopped talking. The question was why. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been going on for 6 hours. In the great crystal chamber of the Andromedian High Station, 12 different alien species argued about what to do with the human problem. The air was thick with tension and the smell of fear from a dozen different worlds. Ambassador Quindar slithered across the smooth floor, his serpent-like body coiling and uncoiling with nervous energy. In 50 years of observation, the humans have never been quiet for more than a few minutes. They broadcast everything. Their entertainment, their news, their private conversations, even their arguments with each other. Now they have been silent. For 18 hours. The representative from the crystalline hive mind spoke with a voice like breaking glass. Our analysis suggests 3 possibilities. First, they have discovered our observation and have gone into hiding. Second, they have suffered a catastrophic system failure. Third, they have developed new technology that blocks our sensors, the Zati. Third option frightens me most, admitted the mechanical collective's robot ambassador. If the humans have advanced their technology enough to hide their entire planet, what else might they be capable of? Subcommander Veltar of the Vraxian Empire stood up. His scales gleamed under the crystal lights as he activated a holographic display. Our long-range sensors show the Sol system is still intact. The human colonies on Mars, Europa, and the asteroid belt are still active, but Earth itself has become invisible to most of our scanning equipment. The hologram showed the Sol system as the Vraxians saw it. The sun burned bright in the center, surrounded by the familiar planets. But where Earth should have been, there, was only a strange blur, like looking at something through water. We can detect the planet's gravity and its effect on nearby objects, Veltar continued, but direct observation is impossible. Something is surrounding Earth, something that bends light and blocks radio waves. Captain Hexmore was the first Vraxian to get close enough to see Earth with his own eyes. His scout ship drifted at the edge of the Sol system, hidden behind a large asteroid. The trip had taken 2 days at maximum speed, and what he found made him question everything he knew about human technology. Command, this is Hexmore. I have visual contact with the third planet. Report, Captain. What do you see? Hexmore stared at his view screen, trying to make sense of what he was looking at. Earth is still there, sir. Still blue and green. Still has its moon. But there is something around it. A shell of energy. Like a bubble made of light. Can you penetrate it? Negative. Our sensors cannot get through. It is like the planet is wrapped in a blanket that stops everything from getting in or out. Any signs of the human space stations and orbital facilities? Hexmore adjusted his sensors and looked more carefully. That is strange, sir. I can see their space stations inside the energy shell. They appear to be normal and undamaged, but I cannot detect any communication between them and the colonies outside the shell. The news from Captain Hexmore spread quickly through the Galactic Council. Earth was not destroyed, not abandoned, and not invaded. It was protected by some kind of advanced energy barrier that no one understood. Dr. Lisa Park was getting desperate. The Mars terraforming facility needed regular supply shipments from Earth, and they were already 3 days overdue. Her team of 200 scientists and engineers was starting to worry about food and medical supplies. Any luck reaching the supply depot? She asked her assistant, Dr. Carl Jackson. Nothing. The orbital depot around Earth is still there, but they are not responding to any signals. It is like they cannot hear us. Lisa walked to the observation deck of the Mars facility. Through the thick glass windows, she could see the red landscape of Mars stretching to the horizon. In the distance, the first dome city was taking shape, a sign of humanity's hope to make Mars a second home. But without Earth support, the project might fail. Carl, try reaching Tony Martinez on the mining station. Maybe he has heard something new. The call connected after a few seconds. Tony's voice sounded tired and worried. Lisa, I was just about to call you. I have been talking to all the outer colonies, and we have a big problem. What kind of problem? The kind that might get us all killed. I have been monitoring alien communications for the past day. Did you know there are at least 6 different alien species watching us? Lisa felt her blood turn cold. That is impossible. We have never detected any alien signals. They have been hiding from us, but they are not hiding from each other. I managed to decode some of their transmissions. Lisa, they are scared. They think Earth's silence means we are preparing for war. War? Against who? Against them. They have been watching us for decades, and now they think we found out about it. Some of their military fleets are moving toward human space. Dr. Susan Wright was having the strangest day of her scientific career. The xenobiologist had been studying possible alien life forms for 15 years, but she had never expected to find evidence of actual aliens watching Earth. From her research station on Titan, she had been analyzing the communication patterns of the scattered human colonies. What she found was disturbing. The blackout had not been random or gradual. Every single Earth transmission had stopped at exactly the same moment, down to the millisecond. That level of coordination is impossible with human technology, she told her research partner, Dr. Mike Torres. You would need to control every radio transmitter, every satellite, every communication device on the planet at exactly the same time. Maybe it was a solar flare or electromagnetic pulse. No. I checked the solar activity records. Nothing unusual. And an EMP would have damaged equipment permanently. The colonies are still detecting signals from Earth, but they are scrambled and strange. Susan pulled up the data on her computer screen. Look at this. These signals from Earth are not random noise. There is a pattern here, but it is unlike anything humans have ever transmitted. What kind of pattern? Mathematical, complex, like someone is trying to communicate using pure mathematics instead of words. Meanwhile, Captain Jake Murphy had made a decision that would change everything. The Endeavour was turning around and heading back toward Earth at full speed. His crew was nervous, but they needed answers. "Sir, are you sure about this?" asked Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez. "If something dangerous happened to Earth, we might be flying into a trap." "Amy, we have been out here for 3 weeks with no contact from home. Our families are on Earth, Mars, and Luna. We need to know what happened." Chief Science Officer Dr. Kevin Thompson was running continuous scans as they approached the inner solar system. "Captain, I am detecting some very strange readings. There appears to be an energy field surrounding Earth, but it is not like anything in our databases." "What kind of energy?" "Unknown. It seems to bend space itself around the planet. Our sensors can barely penetrate it." The news of Jake's decision spread quickly through the unofficial network of human colonies. Tony Martinez became the coordinator for what everyone was calling the Earth Crisis. His mining station had the most powerful communication equipment, making him the unofficial voice of humanity outside Earth. "Listen, everyone," Tony broadcast to the scattered colonies. "We need to work together. Earth is silent, aliens are watching us, and some of them think we are a threat. We need to prepare for the possibility that we are on our own." Colonel Ben Harris had been listening to the alien communications that Tony had decoded. His military training told him that the situation was about to get much worse. "Tony, this is Harris. I have been analyzing the alien fleet movements. They are not just watching anymore. 3 different species have sent warships toward our space. We might have less than a week before they arrive. What are their intentions?" "Unknown. But in military terms, when you move warships toward a potential threat, you are preparing for 2 possibilities. Either you are planning to attack, or you are getting ready to defend yourself from an attack." Dr. Helen Carter joined the conversation from Proxima Centauri. "Ben, are you saying we might be looking at a war?" "I am saying that the aliens are scared of us, and scared aliens with advanced weapons are dangerous. If they think Earth's silence means we are preparing to attack them, they might decide to attack us first." The human colonies fell into worried silence as they absorbed this information. They were scattered across dozens of worlds and space stations with no military coordination and no contact with Earth. If hostile aliens arrived, they would be helpless. But on Earth, something entirely different was happening. The energy shell that surrounded the planet was not a weapon or a defense system. It was something far more extraordinary, something that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The aliens watching from their hidden ships and monitoring stations could not know that Earth's silence was not about fear or preparation for war, Earth had gone quiet because humanity was listening to something vast and ancient, something that spoke from the spaces between stars. Inside the energy shell, every human on Earth was part of the most important conversation in the history of the species. They were not preparing for war with the galaxy's civilizations. They were learning from beings so advanced that the entire Galactic Council would seem like children playing with toys. Captain Jake Murphy stood on the bridge of the Endeavour, watching the Sol system grow larger on his view screen. After 2 days of travel at maximum speed, they were finally approaching home. But something was very wrong with what he was seeing. "Kevin, are you getting these readings?" Jake asked his science officer. Dr. Kevin Thompson looked up from his console with confusion written across his face. "Captain, according to our sensors, Earth is still there, but it is surrounded by some kind of energy field. The field is blocking most of our scans, but I can detect the planet's gravity and magnetic field inside it. Can we communicate through it?" "I have been trying for the past hour. Nothing gets through. Radio, laser communications, even quantum entanglement signals are being blocked or absorbed." Jake felt a cold fear growing in his stomach. In all his years of space travel, he had never seen anything like this. "How close can we get?" "Unknown, sir. The energy field extends about 50,000 kilometers from Earth's surface. We should be able to get close enough for visual observation, but penetrating the field might be dangerous." 3 ships belonging to the Vraxian Empire were also approaching the Sol system, but from a different direction. Captain Hexmore was leading the small fleet, and his orders were simple: find out what happened to the humans without being detected. "Sir, we are detecting a human ship approaching Earth from the outer system," reported his sensor officer. "Distance and heading?" 2 days travel time at their current speed. It appears to be one of their research vessels. Hexmore made a quick decision. "We will observe their approach. Perhaps watching how they interact with the energy field will give us information." "Should we make contact with them?" "Absolutely not. Our orders are to observe and report. Making contact with the humans now could start a war we are not prepared to fight." On the hidden Zephyrian scout ship, Captain Silandra was having similar thoughts. Her ship was equipped with the most advanced stealth technology in the galaxy, making it nearly invisible to human sensors. She had been watching the Sol system for 3 days, trying to understand what had happened to Earth. "Captain, the energy field around Earth is unlike anything in our databases," reported her science officer. "It appears to be selective in what it blocks. Some forms of energy pass through while others are completely stopped." "What does that suggest?" "It suggests intelligence, Captain. The field is not a natural phenomenon or a simple defensive barrier. Something is controlling it, deciding what gets through and what does not." Silandra's feathers ruffled with worry. If the humans had developed technology this advanced, they were far more dangerous than anyone had realized. Dr. Tony Martinez was becoming the unofficial leader of the scattered human colonies. His mining station had the best communication equipment, and colonies throughout the solar system were using him as a relay point to coordinate their response to the crisis. "This is Tony calling all stations. We need to share everything we know about the situation on Earth." Dr. Lisa Park responded first from Mars. "Tony, our sensors show the energy field appeared exactly when all communication stopped. It was not gradual. One moment Earth was normal. The next moment it was surrounded by this barrier." "Any theories about what it might be?" "Our best guess is some kind of planetary defense system, but we have no idea where it came from or who activated it." Colonel Ben Harris joined the conversation from Europa. "I have been monitoring alien communications, and the situation is getting worse. At least 4 different alien species have sent military fleets toward our space. They think Earth's silence and the energy barrier means we are preparing to attack them." "How long before they arrive?" asked Dr. Susan Wright from Titan. "The closest fleet belongs to something called the Mechanized Hegemony. They will reach the outer solar system in 3 days. The others are about a week behind." Tony felt his heart sink. The scattered human colonies had no military ships, and no way to defend themselves against advanced alien technology. "Do we have any options?" "We could try to contact them," suggested Dr. Helen Carter from Proxima Centauri. Maybe if we explain that we do not know what happened to Earth, they will not see us as a threat. That might make things worse, Ben replied. If they realize we are completely cut off from Earth, they might decide we are easy targets, Captain. Jake Murphy was the first human to get close enough to see Earth's energy barrier with his own eyes. The sight took his breath away. Earth looked normal from a distance, blue and green and beautiful, but it was surrounded by a shell of shifting, colorful light that reminded him of the aurora, but much brighter and more complex. Amy, try every communication frequency we have. See if anything can get through. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez worked at her console for 20 minutes before shaking her head. Nothing, sir. It is like the barrier absorbs everything we send toward it. What about passive scanning? Can we learn anything about what is happening on the surface? Dr. Thompson studied his instruments carefully. I can detect heat signatures that suggest normal human activity. Cities are still powered. Transportation. Networks are still operating, but everything is distorted by the energy field. So people are still alive down there? It appears so, sir, but they are completely cut off from the outside universe. The Vraxian ships were watching the human vessel from a safe distance. Captain Hexmore was taking detailed recordings of everything he saw. The human ship is attempting to communicate through the energy field, his sensor officer reported. They are using multiple frequencies and transmission methods, but nothing is getting through. Are they showing any signs of hostility or preparation for attack? No, sir. Their behavior suggests confusion and concern. They appear to be as surprised by the energy field as we are. This information was important. If the humans outside Earth were confused by the barrier, then it was not part of a coordinated human plan. Something else was responsible for Earth's silence. Dr. Susan Wright made a discovery that changed everything. While analyzing the energy readings from Earth, she noticed something that had been overlooked. The energy field was not just blocking communications from Earth, it was also blocking communications to Earth. Mike, look at these readings, she called to her research partner. The energy field is not just a one-way barrier. Nothing gets in and nothing gets out. What does that mean? It means that whatever is happening on Earth, the people there cannot communicate with the outside universe any more than we can communicate with them. They might not even know that we are trying to reach them. But who would create such a barrier? And why? Susan studied the data more carefully. The energy patterns are incredibly complex, far more advanced than anything humans have ever developed. I do not think this barrier was created by Earth technology. Are you saying aliens did this? I am saying that someone or something with technology far beyond human capability surrounded Earth with this field. The question is whether they did it to protect Earth or to imprison it. Colonel Ben Harris was monitoring the approach of the alien fleets when he detected something that made his blood run cold. The lead ships were charging their weapon systems. Tony, we have a major problem. The alien fleet that is approaching. Our system is preparing for battle. Are you sure? I am picking up energy signatures consistent with charging weapons. They are not coming here to talk. Dr. Lisa Park had been listening to the conversation. How much time do we have? 48 hours, maybe less, and there is something else. I am detecting more alien ships moving toward human colonies outside our solar system. It looks like they are planning to attack all human settlements simultaneously. The scattered colonies fell into worried silence as they absorbed this news. They were facing a coordinated alien attack with no way to defend themselves and no contact with Earth. We need to try something desperate, Tony said finally. Jake, can the Endeavor get any closer to Earth's energy barrier? Captain Murphy's voice crackled through the communication link. We are as close as we dare get. The barrier extends 50,000 kilometers from the surface. Getting closer might damage our ship. What if you tried to physically penetrate the barrier? That would be suicide. We have no idea what would happen to our ship or crew. It might be our only option. If we can get a message to Earth about the approaching alien fleets, maybe they can do something to help us. Dr. Kevin Thompson had been listening to the conversation. Captain, I have an idea. What if we do not try to penetrate the barrier with our ship? What if we send a small probe? Explain. We could launch one of our communication probes toward the barrier. If it gets through, it might be able to transmit a message to Earth. If it gets destroyed, we will learn something about how the barrier works. Jake considered the idea. It was risky, but they were running out of options. Prepare the probe. We will try it. The Vraxian ships watched as the human vessel launched a small object toward Earth's energy barrier. Captain Hexmore leaned forward, in his command chair, curious to see what would happen. The human probe is approaching the energy field, his sensor officer reported. Contact in 30 seconds. Record everything. This might tell us how their technology works. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was turning into chaos. 12 different alien species were arguing about what to do with the human problem, and nobody could agree on anything. Fear was spreading through the council chamber like poison. Ambassador Quindar coiled his serpent body around his speaking platform. The humans have developed technology that can hide an entire planet. This makes them the most dangerous species in the galaxy. We must act before they use this technology against us. The crystalline hive mind's representative spoke with a voice like shattering glass. Our collective analysis suggests the humans have made contact with beings from outside our galaxy. The energy patterns around their world are not of local origin. That is even worse, hissed the Void Speaker. If the humans have allied themselves with extragalactic entities, they could have access to technologies we cannot imagine. The robot, ambassador of the mechanical hegemony, stood up. Our fleet commanders report that human colonies outside their home system appear confused and frightened. This suggests the energy barrier around Earth was not created by human technology. Something else is responsible. Something more dangerous than the humans, agreed the Quantum Collective speaker. We may be dealing with a threat that uses the humans as pawns in a larger game. Sub-Commander Veltar activated another holographic display. Our reconnaissance ships report that the human vessel near Earth launched a probe toward the energy barrier. The probe disappeared upon contact, but we detected unusual energy fluctuations immediately afterward. What kind of fluctuations? The barrier became more active. The energy patterns changed, becoming more complex and organized. It is as if the probe carried a message that someone inside the barrier received and responded to. Captain Hexmore was watching the human ship from his hidden position when something incredible happened. The energy barrier around Earth began to pulse with new patterns of light. The swirling colors became brighter and more organized, forming shapes that almost looked like writing. Sensor officer, are you recording this? Yes, sir. The energy field is displaying organized patterns. They appear to be mathematical sequences. Can you decode them? Working on it, sir. The patterns are incredibly complex, but there is definitely intelligence behind them. Someone or something is using the energy field to communicate. Hexmore felt his scales tingle with fear. If something inside Earth's barrier was trying to communicate, it might be trying to warn the galaxy about what was coming. Dr. Kevin Thompson was seeing the same thing from the bridge of the Endeavor. The energy barrier was lighting up like a giant display screen, showing patterns that hurt his eyes to look at directly. Captain, the barrier is responding to our probe. These patterns are not random. They are organized, mathematical, like someone is trying to send us a message. Captain Jake Murphy stared at the display. Can you decode it? I am trying, but the mathematics are beyond anything I have seen before. It is like trying to read a book written by someone with a completely different understanding of reality. Keep working on it. Amy, are you detecting any other changes? Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez checked her instruments. Sir, I am picking up faint signals from inside the barrier. They are very weak, but they sound like human voices. Can you clean up the signal? I am trying, but there is too much interference. Wait, I think I am getting something. The bridge fell silent as Amy worked to clear the signal. After several minutes, a voice came through the static. It was faint and distorted, but clearly human. This is Earth Command to any human vessels in the outer system. If you can hear this message, do not attempt to penetrate the barrier. Repeat, do not attempt to penetrate the barrier. Stand by for further instructions. Jake felt his heart racing. Earth Command is still operational. Amy, can you send a response? I am trying, sir, but our signals are not getting through. Dr. Tony Martinez had been monitoring the conversation from his mining station. Jake, this is Tony. Did Earth Command say anything about the approaching alien fleets? Negative. Just a warning to stay away from the barrier. Colonel Ben Harris joined the conversation from Europa. We may not have time to wait for further instructions. The lead alien fleet will be here in 18 hours and they are definitely planning to attack. What kind of ships are we looking at? Jake asked. The mechanical hegemony is sending 12 warships. Each one is twice the size of our largest military vessel. Their weapons could destroy any human installation in minutes. Dr. Lisa Park was listening from Mars. What about the other alien fleets? 3 more groups are approaching from different directions. If they all attack at once, we will not stand a chance. Dr. Susan Wright had been analyzing the energy patterns from the barrier when she made a shocking discovery. Everyone, I think I have figured out what the patterns mean. They are not just mathematics, they are star charts. What do you mean? Asked Tony. The energy barrier is showing us maps of the galaxy, but not from our perspective. These charts show the galaxy from the viewpoint of something outside it, something looking in from the space between galaxies. That is impossible, said Dr. Kevin Thompson from the Endeavour. Nothing exists in the space between galaxies. That is what we thought, Susan replied. But these patterns suggest otherwise. Whatever is inside Earth's barrier has contact with entities that exist in the cosmic void, in the empty spaces between galaxy clusters. The implications were staggering. If Earth had made contact with beings from the intergalactic void, humanity had just connected with the oldest and most advanced intelligences in the universe. Captain Silandra of the Zephyrian scout ship was watching the same energy patterns from her hidden position. Her science officer was working frantically to decode the mathematical sequences. Captain, these patterns are showing us the structure of the universe itself, but the perspective is wrong. It is as if someone is viewing our galaxy from outside, from a position that should not be possible to reach. What does that suggest? It suggests that whoever created this barrier has traveled in the space between galaxies. They exist in regions we thought were empty and lifeless. Silandra felt her feathers stand on end. The Zephyrians had the most advanced astronomy in the galaxy, and they knew that the space between galaxies was supposed to be empty. If beings existed there, they would be older than any civilization in their galaxy. The alien fleets were closing in on human space. The lead ships belonging to the mechanical hegemony had crossed into the outer solar system and were moving toward the human colonies at high speed. Admiral Korth 9 commanded the hegemony fleet from his flagship, a massive warship bristling with weapons designed to destroy planets. His orders were simple: eliminate the human threat before it could spread. Status report, he commanded in his mechanical voice. All ships are in position. The human colonies appear to be defenseless. We detect no military vessels and no weapon systems. What about their home world? Still surrounded by the energy barrier. Our sensors cannot penetrate it, but we have detected no hostile actions from within. Begin the attack sequence. Destroy the outer colonies first, then move toward the barrier. The hegemony ships powered up their weapons and began targeting the scattered human installations. In minutes, they would begin the systematic destruction of humanity's presence in space. But as the alien weapons reached full charge, something extraordinary happened. The energy barrier around Earth suddenly expanded, growing larger and brighter, until it filled the entire inner solar system. Captain Jake Murphy watched in amazement as the barrier swept past his ship. Kevin, what is happening? The barrier is expanding exponentially. It is not stopping at Earth anymore. It is growing to encompass the entire solar system. Are we in danger? Unknown, sir. The energy field is passing through our ship, but our systems are still functioning. The expanding barrier reached the mechanical hegemony fleet just as they were about to fire their weapons. Admiral Korth 9 watched his instruments in confusion as the energy field enveloped his ships. Report. What is our status? Sir, the energy field has surrounded our entire fleet. Our weapons are offline. Our engines are offline. We are completely powerless. How is that possible? Unknown, sir. The energy field appears to be selectively disabling our military systems while leaving life support and basic functions intact. The same thing was happening to all the alien fleets approaching human space. The Vraxian ships, the Zephyrian scouts, the crystalline hive mind vessels. All of them found their weapons disabled and their engines shut down by the expanding energy field. Captain Hexmore tried to restart his ship's engines, but nothing worked. This is impossible. The energy field is somehow distinguishing between different types of technology and disabling only the systems that could be used for warfare. On Earth, something that had been quiet for 7 days was finally ready to speak. The barrier had served its purpose, protecting the planet while humanity learned truths that would change everything. President Nancy Foster stood in the Oval Office, but she was no longer alone. Behind her stood figures that seemed to be made of starlight and shadow, beings whose presence made the air itself shimmer with possibility. The energy barrier around the Sol system began to fade like morning mist. For 7 days it had protected Earth from the outside universe, and now it was dissolving into streams of light that danced between the planets before vanishing into space. Captain Jake Murphy watched from the bridge of the Endeavour as his communication systems came back online. "Amy, try contacting Earth Command." Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez worked at her console with eager fingers. After a moment, her face lit up with relief. "Sir, I have Earth Command on the primary frequency." "Put them through." The voice that came through, the speaker's was calm and familiar, but there was something different about it. Something that made everyone on the bridge stand a little straighter. "This is Earth Command to all human vessels and installations. This is President Nancy Foster, speaking. Please maintain your current positions and prepare to receive important information about recent events." Jake activated his microphone. "Earth Command, this is Captain Murphy aboard the research vessel Endeavour. We have been trying to reach you for 7 days. What happened down there?" "Captain Murphy, we will explain everything shortly. First, we need to address the situation with our galactic neighbors. All across the solar system, alien ships found their weapons and engines coming back online. But something was different. Each ship received the same message on their emergency communication channels spoken in their own language. Admiral Korth 9 of the Mechanical Hegemony stared at his communication screen in disbelief. A human face was looking back at him, speaking perfect mechanical standard language. "Admiral, this is President Nancy Foster of Earth. We know you came here because you were afraid of us. We understand your fear, and we want to talk." "How do you know our language?" Korth 9 demanded. "How? Do you know my name and rank?" "We have learned many things in the past 7 days, Admiral. We would like to share some of that knowledge with you and the other species who have been watching us." Captain Hexmore received the same message in Vraxian. Captain Silandra heard it in her own Zephyrian tongue. Every alien ship in the system was being contacted personally by the human president, who somehow knew exactly who they were and what languages they spoke. On the bridge of the Endeavour, Dr. Kevin Thompson was analyzing the readings from Earth. "Captain, I am detecting massive structures appearing around the planet. They were not there before the barrier fell." Jake looked at his view screen and felt his breath catch in his throat. Enormous crystalline buildings were materializing in Earth's orbit. Structures so beautiful and complex they made human architecture look like children's toys. "Earth Command, what are those structures?" President Foster's voice remained calm. "Those are gifts from our new friends, Captain. We will explain everything soon. For now, please prepare to receive representatives from the Galactic Council." Dr. Susan Wright was watching the same structures appear around Earth from her station on Titan. "Mike, those buildings are not made of any material in our periodic table. The energy readings suggest they exist partially outside normal space." "What does that mean?" "It means whoever built them understands dimensions of reality that we cannot even detect with our instruments." The Galactic Council emergency session was in chaos. Reports were flooding in from their fleets throughout human space. Every ship had been contacted by the human president, who somehow knew classified information about their military structures and command hierarchies. Ambassador Quindar slithered nervously around the council chamber. How did the humans learn our languages? How do they know the names and ranks of our military officers? This information is top secret. The crystalline hive mind's representative shimmered with fear. Our collective analysis suggests the humans have accessed our data network somehow. But that should be impossible across interstellar distances. Sub-Commander Veltar was studying the reports from his reconnaissance ships. Our ships report that the mysterious structures around Earth are emitting signals toward the space between galaxies. The humans appear to be in communication with something in the cosmic void. That is impossible, insisted the Mechanical Collective's ambassador. Nothing exists in the space between galaxies. Perhaps we have been wrong about that, Veltar replied quietly. President Nancy Foster stood in the main briefing room of the White House, but she was not alone. Behind her stood three figures that seemed to be made of starlight and shadow. They were tall and graceful, with features that shifted like flowing water, beautiful in a way that made human eyes water to look at them directly. My fellow humans, Nancy began, speaking to every communication device on Earth and in the colonies. 7 days ago, our world was visited by beings who have traveled from the spaces between galaxies. They came to offer us knowledge and friendship, but first they needed to teach us about our place in the universe. On Mars, Dr. Lisa Park gathered her entire team around the communication console. On Europa, Colonel Ben Harris listened with his soldiers. Throughout the scattered human colonies, people stopped what they were doing to hear their president explain the impossible. For millions of years, these beings have watched the development of intelligent life in our galaxy. They have seen civilizations rise and fall, species discover faster than light travel and explore the stars. But they have waited for something special, a species capable of bridging the gap between galactic civilizations and the ancient intelligences of the cosmic deep. One of the starlight beings stepped forward and spoke in a voice like singing, "Crystal, your species has a unique gift. You listen with your hearts as well as your minds. You adapt to new truths without losing your essential nature. You seek knowledge not for power, but for understanding." Nancy nodded. During the past 7 days, they have taught us about the true structure of the universe. The space between galaxies is not empty. It is filled with life forms so ancient and vast that entire galaxies are like islands in an ocean of consciousness. Captain, Jake Murphy felt his worldview crumbling and rebuilding itself with each word. Are you saying that the universe is alive? Not alive in the way we understand life, Nancy replied, but aware, intelligent. The beings who visited us are ambassadors from that cosmic intelligence. They have been waiting for our galaxy to produce a species capable of serving as translators between the young civilizations here and the ancient minds of the deep space. Admiral Korth 9 was listening to the same broadcast in his own language. Why humans? Why not one of the older species in the galaxy? One of the starlight beings answered him directly. Age is not wisdom, Admiral. Your species and others in this galaxy have grown powerful, but you have also grown rigid. You fear change and new ideas. Humans are young enough to learn and old enough to understand the responsibility that comes with knowledge. The implications were staggering. Every alien species in the galaxy was realizing that humanity had just become something unprecedented. The official representatives of powers that made their combined civilizations look primitive. Dr. Tony Martinez was coordinating communications between the human colonies when he received a new message from Earth. Tony, this is Earth Command. Please prepare all human installations to receive delegations from the Galactic Council species. We are about to host the most important diplomatic meeting in galactic history. What kind of meeting? The kind where we help our galactic neighbors understand that they are not alone in the universe. There are civilizations in the cosmic deep that make our entire galaxy look like a small village. And humanity has just become the village's spokesperson. Captain Sil Andra of the Zephyrian scout ship was trying to process what she had heard. If humans can communicate with intergalactic entities, they have access to technology and knowledge beyond our comprehension. More than that, replied her science officer, they have become the intermediaries between our galaxy and intelligences we never knew existed. The balance of power has shifted completely. The first diplomatic meeting began within hours. Representatives from 12 alien species arrived at the crystalline structures around Earth, their ships dwarfed by the impossible architecture that existed partially outside normal space. President Foster greeted them in a conference room that seemed to extend infinitely in all directions. The starlight beings stood beside her, their presence making the air shimmer with possibilities that hurt to contemplate. "Welcome," Nancy said to the assembled aliens. "We have much to discuss. Your civilizations have been expanding through this galaxy for thousands of years, but you have been working with incomplete information about the universe around you." Ambassador Quindar coiled nervously. "What kind of information?" One of the starlight beings stepped forward. "Information about your purpose, about why intelligent life develops in galaxies, and what your civilizations are meant to become. We thought our purpose was to explore, to grow, to become more powerful," said the Mechanical Collective's representative. "Power without wisdom is meaningless," the being replied. "Your galaxy is a nursery, a place where young intelligences learn to work together. When you are ready, you will join the greater community that exists in the spaces between stars." "And humans will decide when we are ready?" asked the crystalline hive mind.